Hey guys, it's Mikachu here, and I'm back with another video, and this has been requested for a long time. I'm doing a full recap on Gold Royale from the start till Season 5, putting everything together that has been revealed so far, and I hope you enjoy. If you don't really know what Gold Royale is, I don't know why you've clicked on this video, first of all, but it's basically my Fortnite mini BR. It's in Season 5 right now. It's just had a huge lore update with the introduction of the moons. I'm not going to say much about them in this video because they've literally only just been introduced. And later on, some of this may, change and get, expanded on since, not everything's been revealed yet. And I'm working on Season 8 right now. I'm still well ahead in planning. So some of this, stuff won't fully be established, I guess. Anyway, let's get into it. So, the best place to start is honestly the organization. So the organization is a group of llamas who create simulations to test people pretty much. There's two ways to get into a simulation, or the simulation. You can either use the special pods that you could see in the middle room of the organization, or you can enter through a special room that they have behind a vault. There's also the possibility that you are made in the simulation, like the Gold Gang and Peely. They were made in the simulation, so they weren't around outside of it. They were literally just appeared in the simulation. And when they were first appeared, they basically just made Gold Vow. They made the civilizations. There's other people there as well, but they're not really in the story. That's why there's towns like Sandy Shores and other stuff, but no one really lives there. Uh, so yeah. The Haven was built by the Gold Gang, and it was made to just be a hotel so people could live there, but also to investigate what was going on because they knew something was off. They tried to leave the island, but they just couldn't. There was a barrier. They just couldn't escape, and they couldn't dig underground. That'll be good later on because it kind of fits with this season. So they eventually find these rifts appearing, which you may have seen all over Gold Vow. They are basically viruses within the simulation that the organization just hasn't fixed. The organization doesn't make their simulations very well, so many places there's rifts and vaults, which are just left random code and viruses that have just been left out. That's how the corruption was formed in Season 3, if you didn't know. So, they figure out they're in a simulation, and that's where Season 1 starts. There's not really much in Season 1. It's mainly focused on the organisation, really. The organisation is just the best it can be. LT John Lam is introduced, and the Sprayer is introduced later on in Season 1. And a pretty big part of the story, Oro appears in the mid-Season 1 event. He basically messes with the Gold Gang because they realise that the Gold Gang's onto them. And he plays hide and seek with them to waste hours of their time. He's trying to get info off them, asking do they know what's happening. If they because they've told him that they know about there's a simulation. I'm stuttering a lot. But yeah. He asks do they know where the exits of the simulation are, because if you get in, there has to be a way out. They say no, they haven't thought of that, which kind of gives a big info away to them. And he says, look at the boats, maybe them. And then he ends up having to run away in the Season 1 event because they found out that he's working for the people running the simulation. He gives too much info away. He runs away, gets to a vault, which is the exits and entry points, and he opens it. He gets the organisation to open it. But one of the members of the organisation, Yonder, actually clicks the wrong button, and instead of opening it, straight up puts the simulation in reverse. That puts the island back in time for Season 2. But there's another thing that's important about this. When he opened it, I said that the vaults contained viruses. This is the first time the vaults had been opened so the viruses have just completely come out. In season 2, this doesn't matter, and season 2 never really kind of happened because season 2 actually just disappeared from my island list. So we're just gonna move straight on to season 3. But the island went back in time, and the corruption starts like appearing from the vault, and it causes a big corrupted biome. Season 2, when it goes back in time, also causes some POIs to be like medieval, the sacred streams, there was a castle, but that wasn't in season 3, so no one ever saw it. Blossoming Bow, there was a whole Lucky Landing themed area, because that's kind of, I think that's kind of like old kind of era. Uh, anyway, season 3. So season 3, LT John Lama starts being a lot more like involved in the simulation. Before, he was just running the organization, making sure everything was on track, and took care of the kids because he was kind of like the lead of all, because there's kids in the simulation who are just like baby llamas. And he decides to go and fight the corruption because the simulation would just end, and it's not good if they're trying to test people and they just all disappear like forever. And the people who have gone in manually will just like, I don't even know what would happen because I've never really thought of it, but they could just die. We don't know what would happen, pretty much. So, every week he got you guys to vote on weapons that should he should have to help. And the Gold Gang kind of just ignored this. They like saw him come in every now and again, but they didn't know who he was. I should also mention Peely. Peely is over at the other side of the map, and he's Milas's enemy. He hasn't really done anything in like season 1 to 3 era, but before season 1, like not in the actual like story time, like just before Gold Vow was a thing in like pre-season 1 time, they would like have battles and stuff, and those wars, like certain POIs like Eastern Energy were destroyed because of wars, because like that's near Peely's hometown. There was also like a big base on the hill there, and that's why there was tanks and stuff near Peely. Anyway, we'll get back into it. So, they eventually fight the corruption, and a giant like corruption zombie ends up spawning out of it, but just instantly dies. It's pretty anticlimactic because I was kind of rushing the event, but it works. It works. So season 4, Mayhem Royale is introduced into Gold Vow. Basically, the main thing that happens is Kate, the Holy Goat. If you don't know Mayhem Royale, watch the Mayhem Royale playlist. Like, I'm not explaining all that to you in this video, it's gonna take too long. Kate and the Holy Goat enter the simulation because they're running from Mikachu, Red, Blue, Purple, Catalyst, and all the other rebels. They know the organization because the Holy Goat is Fabio's brother, and Fabio is a member of the organization, if you didn't know. So they go into the simulation, and then Mikachu and that saw where they'd crashed, because they crash landed, and ended up following them. They got in the simulation as well, and figured out every POI in the Gold Vow can just be a real place somewhere in the universe. That is what Gold Vow pretty much all the POIs are. All the POIs that weren't made from people in Gold Vow was just a copy of somewhere in the universe. Let me think of some POIs that were just there. Perfect Pier. Perfect Pier was from Mayhem Wow. It just was copied, pretty much. You guys won't know this, by the way. Fortified Forest. That's somewhere in the universe. Most of the POIs was just from somewhere in the universe, and they just got plopped into Gold Vow, pretty much. This might confuse you a little, because I've never mentioned it. If you want to learn more about that, put in the comments. Put in the comments anything you don't understand, and I'll try to explain it to you. So everyone kind of has a war, because Mikachu is trying to fight Kate. Kate's trying to fight them, but run, and turn into a god, as you'll see at the end of season 4. Peely tries to fight the Gold Gang. The Gold Gang's trying to fight Peely, the organization, and everyone, really, because they don't trust anyone. The organization's trying to keep Peely and, Mikachu and the Gold Gang down. It's a big, chaotic mess, pretty much. And there isn't really a winner in this war. They have a few, like, mini battles, and then when it comes to the big battle, the Haven is destroyed, the Gold Gang's main place, like, base, is just gone, so they kind of lose there, and, the organization just gets torn in half, like, the POI they've spawned in. The organization's still fine, and Peely's, like, the main winner. Peely's the only one who doesn't have a, like, loss in any way. It's kind of funny. So Kate ends up turning into a god. She uses the 0 point, which was at Eastern Energy. I should have mentioned this. There's basically a 0 point at Eastern Energy. It didn't really do anything up to this point in the storyline. It was just like there. It didn't actually like do anything. You couldn't do anything if you like ran into it or whatever. But basically, Kate runs into it and turns into a god. And this is how the Holy Goat turned into a god. Because the Holy Goat was like a god since God, if you believe in God, was a god. They have to call God, God, don't they? Wow. I don't believe in God, by the way, but like, I'm fine with people who do. Yeah, I don't know why I brought that up. Anyway, yeah, she basically goes into 0 point, turns into a god. They tried to snipe her, red, blue, and purple, but she had like a force field thing just in case anyone did try to sneak attack her. And she basically turns into a god and gets away. The 0 point is pretty much blown up, and this pulse alerts the moons, which I'll go into later. So we're in season 5 now, which is the season we're currently on. So what we've got is Mayhem, where our characters are kind of all over the place. Mikachu and his group, with the Gold Gang now because they've just formed a group. The rest of them, Raven and the Holy Goat, were with the organization now because Kate left everyone by herself. Peely's just Peely, he's just vibing. The Gold Gang is with Mikachu, as I said, in Collapse City, where the Haven stood. And, the organisation have ran into the actual organisation. It's annoying, the group's called the organisation, and the building's called the organisation. Should have called them different things. I could call it, like, the organised. I don't know, nah. Nah, we're not gonna do that. Anyway, so the organisation, gets kidnapped at the start of season 5. Also, LT John Lama is pretty much dead. I don't need to go into that. But he got hit by a beam. That's all I'm saying. It's not confirmed whether he's alive or dead because we don't see anything. But like, he got hit by a beam. Yeah, ask the voice actor Snowtech if you want more info, I guess. Or RBI, whatever he's called on YouTube. So we've basically stuck at that now. But we've got them kidnapped. They're kidnapped inside of the organisation themselves, by the moons. This is because they saw they got a scan of the 0 point pulse. Even though it was in the simulation where the 0 point, like, blew up, the 0 point was so big, the explosion, that, like, everywhere in the universe, like, felt it. So, like, there was a pulse on their scanning thing. They saw that something was going on over there. They were like, oh my god, that would have destroyed the entire universe, maybe the galaxy, maybe whatever. And then they figure out it's the organisation, but when they like look further into it, they go down, they kidnap the organisation, and that's the day. That's pretty much where we're up to. What a weird point where I've just introduced the moons, so you don't know too much about them. If you're gonna ask, are the moons from the moons aren't from the moon, it's just a name. I've had so many people ask me that, I swear to God. But yeah, the moons aren't from the moon, they're from space. They use very like old brick kind of buildings, and they also slowly turn the organisation into their base. While they've got the organisation kidnapped. What do you think's gonna happen? Do you think maybe Mikachu and all that are gonna help them, even though they literally tried to kill the Gold Gang and Mikachu? Do you think Kate's gonna come back? Do you think any other characters are gonna come back that I just haven't mentioned much? Like maybe, I don't know, just anyone. I think that's it. Tell me if I've forgotten anything, because there probably is a few things I've forgotten. Tell me if there's anything you don't understand and I'll explain it in the comments. Like and subscribe, comment down below other videos I should do. Thanks for watching. Oh, actually, no, one more thing. Cut that. I'll explain more of the moons. The moons are basically like the FBI. They shut down scam kind of projects. They're not just going to the organisation for no reason. They basically they're like scientists that shut down bad projects, like how like police like shut down like drug dealers and stuff. Pretty much that, but like for like scams, like testing people in a simulation. Like that can be considered a scam. That's pretty much it. Okay, yeah. No one would have seen that because I literally said thanks for watching. But okay, see you. Bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.